Oh my. How does this truck land so well? Here we go. Woo! It felt so good. It took it, no problem, yes. Hey crew, let's compare the Ford F-150 Raptor R, Ram 1500 TRX, and Chevy Silverado ZR2. Hey crew, I've got the key to that 23 Ford F-150 Raptor R. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. There are very few visual distinctions between the standard Raptor and the Raptor R, but they do include these red-orange R badges, like this one here amidst the blacked out grille. There are the 3 marker lights above that are required by law because the truck is so wide. There are standard LED projector headlights with LED DRLs and turn signals. Down low are Rigid Industries LED fog lights, your 2 recovery points in red-orange, and some steel skid plate protection. The graphics on the Raptor R have these little 8s on them to signify the V8 that you find under this hood, which also has a larger power dome on the Raptor R with functional heat extraction. At the sides, we get these matte black 17-inch forged alloy beadlock capable wheels wrapped in 37-inch BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrain tires. The tire package is optional on the standard Raptor, standard here on the Raptor R. There's more heat extraction here. We've got LED spotlights in the door mirrors, steel step-ups, and stepping back to look at the profile, when you choose a darker color, like this carbonized gray, then the graphics pack and that Raptor R in red-orange stands out quite a bit. But if you choose the code orange color, then it really fades in and it just looks like it says Rapto. The Raptor and Raptor R only come in the crew cab with the 5.5-foot bed configuration. At the back are LED taillights and LED turn signals. Ford is stamped on the tailgate, and there's another Raptor R badge off to the right. This one has an optional power tailgate, so it comes down super smooth, giving access to an optional spray-in bed liner. LED bed lighting is standard, along with a 400-watt AC outlet. There is a step that deploys from the tailgate and a handle to get up and in, and that's useful because this truck is so high off the ground. And you also just have to barely assist the tailgate if you want it to come back up. Down low, we have 3-inch matte black exhaust outlets and 2 more recovery points. You can tow up to 7,450 pounds. There's a full-size spare tire hidden underneath. And in summary, this is just a mean-looking truck. It somehow looks a little smaller to me than the Ram TRX, and I wish it was a little more visually distinct from the standard Raptor. But what do you guys think? Is this better or worse looking than that Ram TRX? I've got the key to that 22 Ram 1500 TRX, or T-Rex if you want to have more fun. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. What a truck. Up front, we have functional ventilation through the Ram grille. There's a functional hood scoop with the 3 marker lights in the middle. This one has the TRX graphics package. There are functional heat extractors in the hood, LED daytime running lights, and adaptive LED headlights, tow hooks, skid plates, well, down there, LED fog lights. The TRX is 8 inches wider than a standard Ram 1500 and 2 inches taller in profile. Standard set of 18-inch wheels, wrapped in Goodyear Wrangler Territory all-terrain tires. There's functional airflow from the outside of the headlight that passes through and exits the flared wheel arch. This TRX is painted in flame red with a 2-tone of gloss black down low, just above the optional Ram rock sliders. We also have the optional extended side mirrors with the trailer towing package. Stepping back to look at the profile, the TRX is only offered in Crew Max configuration with the 5.5-foot bed. You can't get 37-inch tires from the factory like you can in the new F-150 Raptor, but they will fit in the wheel arches. The graphics pack gives us TRX stamped on the side of the bed. At the rear, we have LED taillights, non-functional vents here, steel bumpers just like the front, 5-inch outlets for the dual exhaust system, and a full-size spare mounted underneath the bed. The Level 2 equipment group gives us a power release tailgate, and it is dampened. Spray and bed liner is here. There are tie-down points and LED bed lights under this optional tonneau cover. You also have a bed step that you push out from here, and you really need that because this is a fair distance from the ground. All told, the TRX looks like nothing else on the road. It commands attention with its visual presence. I've got the key to that 23 Chevy Silverado ZR2 Bison. I feel like I have to say it like that. We are going to take it for a drive, but first, let's check it out. It looks on the inside and outside. The Bison edition is new for 23, and it is largely a cosmetic, though functional cosmetic package for the ZR2. Unchanged is the Chevy Flow Tie badge for air cooling. Got the corner LED lights here, the LED DRLs and turn signals. Above are LED projector headlights, and on the hood is a black gloss bulge with 6.2L on it for the 6.2 liter V8 found under the hood. This one's painted in red hot, and this red hot is certainly a lot. Coming from a guy with a bright blue car, I understand the irony. AEV adds the specific steel front bumper and rear bumper with integrated tow hooks and LED fog lights. Underneath, we've got the ZR2 bash protection, but we add with the AEV package protection for the transfer case, front and rear differentials, and the fuel tank. At the side, like the regular ZR2, we find 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory all-terrain tires wrapping over AEV-specific black gloss 18-inch wheels. AEV also adds the rock sliders here that can also function as steps. We do, like the regular ZR2, have these spotlights within the door mirrors that are in black gloss. There's black gloss for the door handles. Stepping back to look at the profile, the ZR2 is only offered as a crew cab, and you can choose whether you want the 5-foot 10-inch bed, as we have here, or a 6-foot 7-inch bed. Those 33-inch tires look chunky, but considering the TRX and the Raptor can be had with 35 or even 37-inch tires, they look kind of small by comparison. There is a Bison badge there. You have LED taillights and turn signals. This truck is equipped with the multi-flex tailgate, which is nothing new, but it's still cool. Got the dampen function for the tailgate. As normal, you can split it to ease your access to the bed. Pull down this piece to create a step. Pull out that handle to ease your entry in. And while I'm stepping up here, you can look at the hard tonneau cover, which has like this rhino guarded material on it. It is an option. And I've already started the fold, which you do by pulling on these cords on both sides. I don't have two hands because I'm holding the camera, but I'll show you a clip of it folded up and leaning against that back glass. Other mentionables while we're here in the bed. ZR2 is stamped there. We've got a 400-watt AC outlet here, LED bed lighting on either side, and it coming from the top. You can pull up this piece to secure some cargo at a low level, or when we lift it back up and pull down just the top portion, you've got a shelf here, maybe have some lunch, maybe do some work, and then pull it up once more to secure things at a higher level. Maybe that's a 2x4 set, maybe it's a surfboard. You do you. I'll also show you a clip of just the inside of the bed with the tonneau cover up. There's a steel rear bumper, you get more tow hooks, a full-size spare tire underneath, and both exhaust outlets are tucked up and in so you don't get them hung up when you're off-roading. The ZR2 Bison can also tow up to 8,900 pounds. Though I do think a bright red truck belongs in a fire station, I'm into the ZR2's look, and the Bison package gives it that little extra authority. Doesn't transform it, but it helps. My question for you, does this truck look tough enough when you've got things like the TRX and the Raptor prowling around? Let me know in the comments. We've got smart keyless entry for the front 2 doors, plus the keypad system, so you can leave the key in your truck and lock or unlock it with a code. The front seats are these heavily bolstered sport buckets with leather and suede, power adjustments for the driver and passenger, heating and ventilation, Raptor with the Red R badges, then Ford Performance tread plates with more all-weather floor mats, same materials on the front door as the back, including carbon fiber trim. We've got power adjusting and power folding door mirrors, plus 3-position memory for the driver's seat. Yet another grab handle makes it easier to get in. We'll throw the truck in accessory mode to turn on the digital instrument cluster to accompany the 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The infotainment itself is responsive and it's easy to navigate. Below the screen, we've got a physical volume knob and tuner, physical inputs for your dual zone climate control system. You can slide forward on the carbon fiber to find a wireless smartphone charging pad, plus 2 USB ports. There are 2 cup holders over here. You can stow the gear selector to fold out the console cover into a work surface. And then of course, underneath the console is that traditional pickup truck mega storage area, plus 2 USB ports. On the left of the screen, we've got our backup assist. We have a trailer brake controller, drive mode selection with 2-speed transfer case. And on the right side of the screen is a DC outlet and AC outlet. You can pop open the carbon fiber covered area for storage. Up on the dashboard, we find injection molding with more of that red-orange contrast stitching. Drivers get a heated leather-wrapped steering wheel, super thick and squishy in the hands, with these giant aluminum paddles on the back of the wheel, the red-orange center marker. Your digital instrument cluster is reconfigurable via drive mode. We've got more of that carbon fiber around the gauge cluster. Then there is the slider control for your back glass, plus these 6 pre-wired auxiliary switches for you to set up some accessories. Visibility is excellent. And we've got standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. This cabin's amenities, space, layout, and technology are all awesome. There are definitely some cheaper materials for a $100,000+ truck as tested. Up front, we have bucket style seats with additional bolstering. They're heated, they're ventilated. We have suede for the inner portions of the bolsters, TRX onto the seat back. And the cabin is a bit dark and black without a standard sunroof. You can option in a panoramic glass roof if you want. The door panels look just like the second row, except we have power adjusting and power folding door mirrors and these molded foam cup holder spots. Very cool. Yet another leather wrap grab handle makes it easy to get in. We'll put it in accessory mode to trigger on the 7-inch TFT display. That's within 2 analog gauges with 2 additional accessory gauges. There is a head-up display with the technology package and a digital rearview mirror. Leather wrapping with stitching for the dashboard. You got some suede here. That's with the level 2 equipment group. More matte carbon fiber, a slot up here for some stuff, and a DC outlet. There's a 12-inch touchscreen infotainment that is very customizable. It's pretty quick to respond. Occasionally there is some sluggishness, but it does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There is a physical volume knob with a knurled finish, physical tuner, trailer steering system is here, wireless smartphone charging pad, 4 more USB ports on that side, 2A, 2C, perforated leather wrapping for your gear selector. Under the matte carbon fiber, we find 2 cup holders, slot for your key, suede and leather wrapping for the well-padded armrest, TRX plaque up top, 2 levels of storage, including a USB port up top, and an AC outlet down low with another Raptor versus TRX Easter egg. Drive modes, transfer case, and launch control settings are here. There's a red start-stop button amidst matte carbon fiber trim that continues on the passenger side, including over this hidden storage cubby. The steering wheel looks very sporty for a half-ton pickup truck. You get these big indents, perforated leather wrapping, suede flat bottom, matte carbon fiber trim, more suede up top. The aluminum paddles also look huge, but in fact, they're wrapped around these cutouts for the media settings. The visibility is quite good, and that back glass also power opens. You get blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic with the level 2 equipment group. This cabin has incredible material quality and features that feel fitting for $92,000 as tested. Smart keyless entry is for the front 2 doors only, and these front seats have AEV Bisons stitched on the headrests The front chairs are heated and ventilated with power adjustments for driver and passenger, ZR2 tread plates, and then your all-weather floor mats here as well. On the doors, same materials as the back. We add 2 one-touch windows for the front, and then power adjusting and power folding door mirrors with 2 positions of memory for the driver's seat. I'm going to do the side of the foot and the arm into the grab handle like I did in the back. I'll throw in an accessory. Ooh, animation on both screens. That's pretty cool. I see you, Chevy. That's rad. I'll throw it in accessory mode now to turn on that digital gauge cluster fully, which is reconfigurable with the buttons on the right-hand side of the wheel. There's leather wrapping on that steering wheel, and it is heated. Feels nice in the hands. Got shifters on the back of the wheel, along with some shortcuts. There's a head-up display with the Bison package. Injection molding up on the dashboard, more of that yellow contrast stitching. Storage bin is in here, along with your glove box below. And we get a 13.4-inch touchscreen with the Google operating system. It's nicely responsive. The voice commands are really sharp, and it's got wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Beneath the screen is a lineup of toggles to control various drive functions. Here's a volume knob and home button. On the left-hand side of the wheel, we've got your 2-speed transfer case settings, power adjustments for the tilt and telescope of the wheel. Gear selector with a leather topper is a decent spot to rest your hand, but I have accidentally, with this knuckle, put myself into park when I was just at a stoplight in drive. So that was a startling situation. I think they should probably move that. We've got your physical climate controls with 2 USB ports, 1A, 1C, trailer brake controller, storage here, and here, 2 cup holders, wireless charging pad. Under the leather-topped console is a removable tray, AC outlet, that's where that is, 2 USB ports, 1A, 1C, and deep bin storage. There's also a digital rearview mirror with the Bison package, and here are power operations for your sunroof and for the sliding back glass. Always handy. Visibility from backwards to front this time is good, and there's standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic. With the tech and design upgrades that came last year, the Silverado's cabin has contemporary conveniences. We've got plenty of storage space for passengers and cargo. I just question the yellow contrast stitching and the lack of a rear sunroof. Neither are deal breakers, thankfully. Let's fire it up. Now that is a hardier startup than the standard Raptor, that's for sure. We've got a 5.2-liter supercharged V8, putting out 700 horsepower and 640 pound-feet of torque. That is the same supercharged V8 you find in the Shelby Mustang GT500. The only changes being that they had to adjust the supercharger pulley to provide more low-end torque that's needed for a big, heavy pickup truck, especially one that's going to go hack it off-road. And they also tweaked the ECU to account for the additional airflow coming into this massive grille. Lot of power, and yet channeled through this 10-speed automatic gearbox with the smooth shifts and routed to either the rear tires or all 4 tires via a part-time 4-wheel drive system. It's very easy to manage, as is the brake pedal tuning. You get a great sense of that pedal, so you can apply smooth pressure and creep up to a stop, and then out of the hole. There's a lot of pedal travel there, allowing you to just kind of mosey up to speed. The ride quality is what is impressing me the most about this truck initially here. This Fox live valve remote reservoir suspension system provides, I'm not overstating this, luxury car levels of dampening. The dampening is so thorough that you stay perfectly relaxed. Yes, there's the sway of a top-heavy pickup truck as you go over undulations, and you've got the chatter of the solid rear axle at speed. but the ride is so smooth and these seats are so crazy comfortable. Let's fire it up. That's not scary at all. Powertrain, 6.2 liter, supercharged V8. It makes 702 horsepower, just saying it out loud. 702 and 650 pound-feet of torque. That is routed through an 8-speed automatic to a part-time 4-wheel drive system. You can just hear that supercharger. You can really isolate it, just like in the Charger and Challenger Hellcats. You can really isolate that supercharger whine by playing around with the rev range, playing around with the throttle inputs. Oh, that is very easy to modulate. And yet, even just a little bit of throttle gives you so much power. The 8-speed is just buttery, though. Smoothly working through those gears. Ride quality is quite bouncy. The suspension absorbs the impacts, but the rebound, the just up and down undulation after going over a bump, is quite a lot. So it makes for a sort of almost like you're on a boat ride quality, like you're just with the waves. But it's still comfortable. The seats feel great, a little on the firm side, but very well supportive, ergonomic. Let's fire it up. Nice little rumble from that V8. Powertrain in the Silverado ZR2. We've got a 4.2, that would be way off. 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. It makes 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. It is routed exclusively through a 10-speed automatic gearbox and sends power through a part-time 4-wheel drive system. Right now, we are in 2 high. And this is a great motor. It's velvety smooth. The 10-speed automatic also does a great job fading into the background. You're not aware of the gear changes. Gracefully make your way up to speed. The ride is good. Let me go into detail. So our suspension setup, we've got a double wishbone front suspension. Yes, it is an independent suspension, and a leaf sprung rear end. Some of the new full-size trucks are moving to coil springs. They stuck with leaf springs, and that's part of the reason why we can tow as much as 8,900 pounds. That's solid. We also have these Multimatic DSSV spool valve dampers. They're pretty sophisticated, and here in practice on the road, what they're doing is helping to mitigate some of the choppiness that happens from that body-on-frame, leaf-sprung rear end, which it just wants to move around, and you still feel the motions, the little motions that are happening back there, but the spool valve dampers are helping to quell some of that. If you're one of those people who are moving to a full-size pickup truck from like a family SUV, because these things can do it all now, just be aware of that kind of ride quality that you're going to experience in a vehicle like this. It's not going to feel like the casual, comfortable cruiser you're used to. It's going to move around a little bit. The brakes are very easy to modulate. Work my way up to a smooth stop. The seats are just okay. They feel a little like slabs that I've just rested my body on. Yeah, there is some bolstering here, but they're not very well contoured, and the padding isn't abundant. So I worry that for a long road trip in these, you might have some tweaks or some aches and pains. I've only done an hour in the seat, and I was okay at my destination, but any longer than that, you might be like, get me out of here. And without a launch control feature, the internet tells us brake boosting the Raptor R won't work. So I've just got auto hold on, and I'm gonna put my foot down. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. 3.89 seconds to 60. In a pickup truck. How is that possible? Pin the throttle and let go of the brake. And there's 60 in 3.94 seconds. Power! And some practicality. We don't have a sport drive mode, so I'm just gonna bury my foot in the throttle. Little slip off the line, but then a nice surge of power. And we got there in 7.17 seconds. That's perfectly okay. All right, guys. Now, I know when you heard me say off-roading and you thought Raptor R, you were hoping I would then jump the truck, which is precisely what we're about to do. So let's go into the Baja drive mode, which is going to lock it in four-wheel drive high and turn off the traction control system. Then we're gonna hope that the intense engineering that went into this Fox live valve remote reservoir suspension with 3-inch tubes and 13 inches of front wheel travel and 14 inches of rear wheel travel yield a pretty good jump. That was elevation. That was glorious, composed, blissful elevation. And I think I want to do it again after we go through this puddle. Who gave me the keys to this thing? Thank you, sir. May I have another? This time, let's count the seconds of hang time. Oh my. How does this truck land so well when it takes off on a jump and gets a little cockeyed midair? This suspension system is unreal. And we landed so softly. We're gonna do the puddle again, aren't we? 700 horsepower off-road. It's magic. And so insanely stable at speed. It's stable on jumps. It's stable when you put your foot down. It's stable when sliding. How do they accomplish this? It's not just the hooliganism. It's the confidence with which it does this stuff. Wait, I didn't catch that. Did you ask for more puddles? Because we can do that. 1 and 2. Can't see anything now. There we go. As I was saying, it's the confidence this truck gives you, derived from the ease of placing it on the road, and just, as I said, the incredible stability when doing high-speed heroics that just make it so much fun. How can you not love every minute behind the wheel of this thing? How is it possible? If I was to criticize just one thing about the tomfoolery side of the Raptor R, it would just be this: that if you have it in rear drive mode, the truck will not let you engage the locking rear differential for those power slide shenanigans. Instead, it uses a brake-based torque vectoring system, which means you could just wear out the brakes if you're doing that all the time for an extended period of time, or at the very least, just get them real hot. It would be nice if you could lock the rear differential in rear drive mode. As it sits, you can only do that in four-wheel drive mode. All right, we've lost sight of the pavement, and I've gone ahead and aired down the tires to give us more cushion off-road and to help those Goodyear all-terrains grip in when we get to lower speed stuff. We're also going to change up our drive mode. We'll go to Baja, and that's going to turn off the traction control, and it's also going to put the transmission, the throttle response, and the suspension damping in their more aggressive settings. And we can also show the performance pages here, which is pretty neat. If we were on the road, we'd do the lap timer, the drag race timers and stuff. You can see all your gauges, monitor all the pressures and temperatures, and just see your performance in real time. So with that, let's head on out. Now, the TRX is really designed for high-speed off-road running, and we're not in a desert, as you can obviously see, so we won't be doing that kind of aggression, but we can still test out the suspension, and let's talk more about it. So we've got an independent front suspension with upper and lower control arms, and a 5-link rear with coil springs. Add to that the Bilstein Blackhawk E2 remote reservoir shocks with electronic proportioning valves for quick and accurate control of the fluid flow, so you can build up that resistance with that hydraulic fluid to absorb the harsh impacts that you will no doubt encounter off-road. So far, of the bumps we've gone over, you can feel the suspension just trying to flatten out the biggest adjustments in the trail surface. And the chatter of this road is kept in modest check. I mean, you still feel it through the chassis. It's a Dana 60 solid rear axle. There's only so much you can do. To keep it smooth. And again, the width of the TRX doesn't encourage trail driving like this necessarily, because when the brush comes in from the sides or the low-hanging trees are there, you're going to be scraping. You'd want to take something like a Tacoma out in environments like that. This is also not a crawling truck. It's got those big meaty tires, 13 inches of front wheel travel and 14 inches in the rear, but quite a bit of distance between the front and rear axles, so your breakover angle isn't amazing. And you don't have things like disconnecting sway bars for more wheel articulation. Again, not the intent of the TRX. It's for going fast and being stable. That's what this suspension is designed for. When you do tap into the throttle in Baja mode, the engine is ready for you. And without the traction control system on, you can slide the back end a bit. Brakes again do a good job while the pedal stays mushier. Okay, it gets a lot more fun as you start to go faster. Ooh, this looks like a good spot to do something like that. In this truck, yeah, you can jump it. And the TRX has a jump sensing technology, wheel sensors, so it senses the speed of the wheels such that it knows when the truck is in midair and it won't do damage to the driveline by like over revving it. But we've got to do that jump again and get more air. Are we ready? Not going to carry crazy amount of speed, but it's going to be enough to get flight. Okay, one more time, a little more velocity. Here we go. Woo! It felt so good. It likes being in midair. The TRX likes to fly. I do too. No, really, that felt great. The suspension took it flawlessly. And though we hit the bottoms, we bottomed out and we hit the bump stops, it was so stable. We are going to go into the off-road drive mode. And I'll leave us in two-wheel drive high just to start, and then I'll move us into four high. I don't think we're going to get into four low, but who knows? We'll see how things go. Down into drive. And I'm going to bring up the camera system, because that is so useful. And as we saw on the street, it hangs with you as the speeds do climb. Now, what I'm hoping to learn on this fire road is how much my water is going to rattle. I'm going to put that there. Is how the Multimatic DSS-V spool valve dampers can handle washboardy road surfaces like this one. And so far, we're transferring a lot of the chatter here into the cabin. That leaf-sprung rear end is really gonna put the spool valve dampers on their heels, attempting to filter all this out. And so this is not going to be as luxurious of a ride as the more sophisticated Fox 3.0 remote reservoir, super crazy heavy duty suspension in the Raptor as an example, or even the Bilstein E-Hawk. I can't remember what they call it, but that one's also pretty trick. This is doing a decent job. Big hiccups like that one, big dips that you don't plan for, leave you sloshing around a little bit. I'm hopping. I got at least a quarter inch of air in my seat just there. It is, however, compared to the TRX or the Raptor, narrower. And that means that when you're plotting your way through tree-lined, tighter roads, certain roads, fire roads, whatever, trails, you're not quite as worried about pinstriping. I haven't had to think about the dimensions of this pickup at all so far. And yes, the trail is wider than what some might encounter. And this is definitely still wider than a mid-size pickup truck like the Colorado or Tacoma. But I don't have the tension in my shoulders, apart from the shattering of the washboard surface that we're riding on. I don't have the tension in my shoulders fearing for what could be gouges from a tree branch, and the steering here is also sufficiently communicative. my inputs lead intuitively and appropriately to the pivoting of the tires. Next, I want to see how it does at a higher velocity. I'm going to go into four-wheel drive high for that. So I'll hit this button here on the side. It'll move us into 4 high. And when that's committed, which it has, we can pick up the pace. I immediately like it better. It already feels happier absorbing the punishment of an imperfect surface when you've got a bit of pace. Throttle response. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a big dip down. Nose doesn't plummet like I experienced in the braking performance. Stayed very stable. The four-wheel drive system and those Goodyear Wrangler territories do provide a sure-footedness through curves. The ZR2 Bison does settle in. When you get it into a groove, when you pick up the pace, it thrives. That was the biggest bump I've felt. It took it. I don't know if I could take many more of those, though. You can have a bit of fun. You most certainly can. And you even take a small jump. That's the question. Yes! Smoothly, confidently. Heck yeah! Now, of course, we have to do it again. A little faster, because I'm a child who's discovered a toy. It took it! No problem! Yes! And the reason it can take it is because of that upgraded suspension, giving us 9.8 inches of front travel and 10.6 inches of travel in the rear with hydraulic bump stops. So it can shrug off those modest jumps. This is not, again, going to be something that can handle the kind of crazy leaps that a TRX or Raptor R can deal with. But you know what? If you get a little bit of hang time, it's not going to cripple the truck. Well, crew, the battle of the off-road super trucks did not disappoint. In terms of quickness, the Raptor R notched a narrow victory over the Ram TRX with a 3.89 second run to the Ram's 3.94 seconds, while the ZR2 was almost twice as slow with its 7.1 second run. On-road, both the TRX and Raptor R offer a surprisingly compliant ride, though the Fox suspension forward is slightly softer and its lane keep assist feature is super handy given the truck's wide dimensions. Off-road, the ZR2 is a bit outclassed in terms of high-speed stability and clearance, though its narrow dimensions do make it easier to wind through tighter trails. Between the TRX and Raptor R, the Ford felt slightly more comfortable with quick direction changes and with jumps. As soundtracks go, the TRX has the biggest roar from its HEMI V8 and the added delight of a distinct high-pitched supercharger whine. Styling is going to come down to preference, of course, with the 33-inch tire-clad ZR2 looking the most modest and the TRX looking the most aggressive. I personally prefer the Raptor R's version of imposing muscle, though. Ram holds the edge for interior design and usability with a good mix of high-end materials, creature comforts, and user-friendly features. Price is where the ZR2 really starts to regain some ground, though, with a starting figure of $74,595 for the ZR2 or $81,000 for the ZR2 Bison. Meanwhile, while the Ram TRX paused production in 2024 with a starting price of about $98,000, it's coming back in 2027 at $102,000. The Raptor R eclipses both trucks' figures, though, with a $113,595 starting price. If you want the very best in off-road rigor, it's gotta be the Raptor R. But the TRX checks a ton of boxes. And now that it makes 775 horsepower for 2027, that's 55 more than the Raptor R, it's taken a narrow lead in my book. I hope you guys have enjoyed this comparison, and let me know in the comments which vehicles you want to see matched up next.